Hi guys, so I'm going to record a video about homeschooling. We are homeschooling our first official year. He is my son. He is 6 years old and in kindergarten technically, but we are actually doing Abeka's first grade curriculum. Reason being, we did My Father's World kindergarten curriculum, which I really liked. We did that for basically 2 years. I kind of split it up and we used it like a preschool. And then he also went to a preschool. So when I got ready to do kindergarten this year, I looked at the books and he already knew everything in them because of all the schooling we had done previously. So I went ahead and started him in first grade this year, and my thoughts were if it doesn't go well, we can always just redo it next year because he still wouldn't even be behind. But it's actually going pretty good. He seems to understand the material well. So yeah, I like it, but I thought I'd give you a quick overview and kind of show you some of the curriculum. I just bought the first grade kit, and so it came with all the stuff like he needs, and then it came with all the teacher books. Math, let me get it, comes with a teacher book that looks like this. And each day kind of just looks like this. Like here we're on lesson 103 and it just tells you like do a speed drill test. And it tells you how long they should have. It tells you about grading the test, and then they tell you to do, lesson 103 in their workbooks. And then we actually already did 103, so it's not in here, but this is their math book, and the pages just look like this. They're real colorful and fun, and they have 4 quarters, and each quarter has its own kind of like theme, which is kind of fun. You can kind of play on that and add on to it. And then they have the test booklets, which look like this, and they have that's like what a test looks like. And then the speed drills have one side that's a coloring page, and the other side are the speed drills. And then it comes with the answer key, which, first grade, you really don't need it a whole lot, but it's nice because you can just kind of glance and you don't have to actually really think, I guess. Same with the teacher books. I don't really use them a whole lot in first grade because pretty much if I just go off of the worksheet, I kind of know what I want to say about it or how I'm going to communicate that to them. But it is nice because they do have, some extra things in there that I maybe would not have thought of on my own, like games. They also have certain ways that they teach things. So like if you explain it the way that they teach it, then it makes more sense like if they read it on their own than later. So I keep up in the books with it, but I don't necessarily sit and say everything word for word. I kind of just get my worksheets and we just go off of that. This is the English, and it covers all of those books. And then the insides look, pretty much the same thing. Now English, definitely, I feel like you have to kind of follow a little bit more than the math. Willa, please, not right now. Because it just has a lot of subjects basically within the English. So in the math, or English, sorry, like it starts out with phonics and language, which are these 2 books. And then it moves on to other things like you also will have your reading in here, so it'll go over what they read, and it has a little bit. You have poetry in here, they have spelling, they have creative writing, which they don't start that till later. We have just started creative writing and we're in lesson like 105. So they start that later in the school year, not at the beginning. So there's quite a few things, so I kind of fell in there. Now we don't necessarily do everything. partly since he is not technically a first grade age, I feel like sometimes it's just a little too much for him. So I do key things, but we don't necessarily always do, every little thing. We were doing spelling, but I'm thinking now we're going to stop spelling for a while. And then over the summer, I think we're going to go back and I'm going to start at the beginning of the spelling book and start over. Because I just feel like he's not picking the spelling up well. This is the spelling and poetry. Poetry's in the back. But when we started this year, he couldn't read at all. So I feel like he can read now, but still, like, these words, this is only the second lesson. For someone who couldn't even read, it just was a little hard. But I think he could do it now if we go back. I just feel like, but the words that we're at now are a lot harder. And so I feel like, again, it's just a lot for his actual age. But if I go back, and I think we'll just start over, and then when we start next year, he'll be ready and good, and it should work out fine. Back to the 2 English books. You have 2, and I guess they're technically supposed to be different, but I kind of feel like they're the same thing. But just to give you an idea, like, this is like just one day, you just do one side. And it just has some little activities. And then the other one side is the day, and it's that, just the activities. And it's pretty straightforward and simple. It's not too hard. And then they have their handwriting, and it's just like that, and they practice writing handwriting and stuff. There's one he's done. And then they have some, which we haven't gotten to these yet, but they have like some creative writing pages in the back. Which, again, I think we might wait and do that a little later in the year, because he loves to do creative writing. He likes to think up all the ideas, but then when it comes to actually writing the words on the page, he can't necessarily figure out how they're all supposed to be written. So I think if we just spend a little bit longer on our reading and practicing all the different sounds, then he'll get there where he can write them himself, because he knows them. He just doesn't necessarily always hear that he's saying that. And then their test key and tests, and their tests are more sounds, and that's what it looks like. And it's more like blends and sounds and spelling words is kind of what they ask. And then it has a little bit of reading on there. And you definitely need the teacher key for there, because otherwise you have no clue what to say to them. Because it's just all the empty spaces, so then you're supposed to say these sounds and these spelling words. The spelling words you can make up, but the sounds, like, you don't know what they're wanting you to ask. So I do use that a lot. We go through our flashcards, and they have these for like all the different blends. Now these did not come in the pack. These someone actually gave me, but you can buy these separate. They give you ones like this in the pack, so it's the same thing, it's just more condensed. And I find I just enjoy these better, so I'm glad I have these big ones for all of the sounds. The reading books, just little reading books, and just good little stories. A nice thing is they do, if you stay up with the reading where the English is, they do kind of review the same like blends and stuff they're learning, so it helps them to catch on, because everything kind of goes with that same thing. And then that's just kind of their core. We also have science, history, and community helpers, and health. But I don't know that I have room on this video to put all those, so I'll have to put those on a different video. And I don't do all those in our everyday. What I did when I first got the curriculum in the last summer, I started history and science, and we did history and science kind of through the summer and then at the beginning of school, and then I stopped those and we just did our core curriculum, and then we're getting ready to start community helpers and the health. But I feel like since I was first year, I didn't want to overload us with like forever long lists of things to do in a day, so we just kind of started it out slow to see how it goes. I don't know if I'll do that again next year or not. We'll see. I don't know how much work the second grade has. But we don't really like to do school much more than, 2.5 hours. And that's like 2.5 hours of like sitting at the table and doing school. And that's just with the core. That's just like the math and English. So if you add on all these others, it can become a really long school day, especially for homeschooling. I know kids that go to school are in school all day, but it just works better, especially since I've got the others too. I've got 2 others that aren't technically in school yet, and then I'm expecting. And the other 2 like to be in here and they like to do school, but we don't really do school with them that much. So I will say though, my daughter, she's 4, she's picking up quite a bit, and she's learning her alphabet and the sounds and some of the special ones, because she's in here and she does it with him. But so that'll be interesting to see when she gets to his age, how quickly she picks up on all that and remembers. But anyway, that's kind of that in a nutshell. I'll have to do a separate video covering the other stuff. So bye, thanks for watching. Comment below if you have questions. I'd be happy to answer any questions about our experience or the curriculum. All right, bye.